Quite often we're brought into an existing building. You know, it's a refurbishment, or it's an existing building, or a client is moving into a new building, and our job is slightly different. It's not so much about the architecture itself, we've got to take that into account, it's about changing perceptions, and changing perceptions either of the place itself, or changing perceptions of the people who inhabit that, and that's a kind of branding challenge. And I think, just talking about a couple more examples, then I'll stop. The Lanesborough Hotel, just in a different kind of, again, a different challenge they had. They had a very old, slightly clapped out kind of garden restaurant. I don't know if anyone had the privilege of going to the garden restaurant at the Lanesborough. It's called the Apsley Room. And it really was, frankly, a bit knackered and a bit 70s and a bit cheesy, dare I say it. And they really had a makeover. Page 17 is the page. And we were brought in by a really kind of interesting, very dynamic American designer called Adam Tahani. And he was absolutely adamant that this place needed a complete change. And this place, you either love it or you hate it. It's had an amazing reaction. And I think you quite like being in a situation where people love it or hate it. At least they react to it. And this was a very opulent interior design to completely change the nature of this, the atmosphere of this room. And we were asked to come up with something that would really complement that. And we actually chose and recommended a very wonderful, quite young painter called Simon Casson, who does these huge Renaissance banquet scenes. They're kind of bacchanalian feasts, but then he draws into them and scrawls into them and essentially almost graffitis them himself. So you had this very opulent, lavish Renaissance kind of feeling around this artwork, but you made it very contemporary by the work he was doing into that service. So you walked into that room, your perception was completely changed, and the artwork really complemented and underlined that change in perception and created a reaction.